What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, there's a bit of a story that goes along with this, and you're just going to have to, I would say, follow me through it. I'm going to be talking a little bit about my gaming experience, my gaming preference of what I've been doing, and then, of course, talking about this game. So, I've said it in past videos, kind of my life story with games, is I didn't really beat games all that often. It was very, very rare that I would beat a game. I did beat games, but I would say it really started, that I actually started doing it in 2020. January of 2020, I actually made it a New Year's resolution, and ever since then, I've been golden. And I actually feel very proud of that achievement, as little or as meaningless as maybe that is to other people. But when it comes to Assassin's Creed, and I find this really fascinating. I've talked to other people about specifically this game. What I find interesting about this game is this feels like, you normally see this for movies, where movies that come out in like the 80s, 90s, even like the early 2000s, you know how they kind of have like a renaissance where they come back and everybody talks about how amazing they are, but back in the day, they were either bad or viewed as bad, or kind of middling, and then now they're great. I've been very interested in that mentality because I do think there's something there. And I think sometimes that actually does happen where things were maybe judged too harsh at the time they released. And then, you go back to it years and years later and you say, you know what, this is actually a lot better than I remember it being, and give it a better score or whatever. Gaming, it's a little bit different. I feel like games that are good can kind of always stand the test of time. I just feel like it happens less often with games than it does with movies or television. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So why do I bring Assassin's Creed up? Well, if you guys aren't aware of the current gaming landscape, it's a little bit of a dry season right now, right? Actually, this entire year has been kind of up and down dry, and I've been looking for games to play from my backlog. I actually went back, I beat Persona 5 Strikers, which took a lot of time. I went back and I beat, for the first time only ever, Days Gone, a game that I put 46 hours into just recently after having played it back in 2019, but I played it for like 5-6 hours. I never got very far. So I'm in this, again, like I'm a new person since literally January 2020. I skipped over I'll say skipped over just generally. I'll explain it in a second. I skipped over Assassin's Creed Origins for the most part. When the game first came out, I remember, I guess, my history with Assassin's Creed. I started to piece out right after Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 3 made me very, very mad in a lot of different ways. I played Black Flag, but I played it primarily with my cousin, and I would play mainly the ship parts. Now, I did play parts that were not on the ship, and while I do overall think it's a solid game, and honestly, that should be a game I go back and retry and kind of see how I feel. I think Skull and Bones is going to make me do that, by the way, so that'll be fun in the future. But at that time, around Black Flag, is when I was very, I guess, in and out of Assassin's Creed. And then after Black Flag, I was done. Syndicate, Unity, I skipped over. Rogue, I skipped over all three of those games. I never touched them. Maybe I will at some point in my life, but I never touched them when they came out. And then you skip to the new era of Assassin's Creed. I remember being cautious because it's like I kind of felt it needed to change, right? How Assassin's Creed was needed to change, but I wasn't sure if they were gonna pull it off, and also I wasn't sure if I would like just because the old thing gets old doesn't mean you're immediately gonna like the new thing, right? I mean, that's not like a guarantee. So when I was seeing Origins as stuff, I was like, I don't know. I bought the game day one, and I can tell you I didn't make it far. I feel like I played roughly, and this is a rough estimate, 3 or 4 hours of Assassin's Creed Origins. So when I say I primarily skipped Assassin's Creed Origins, I generally mean it. I mean, I did play it, and I knew about it, and I kept up with it leading into the game coming out, but I mean, I really didn't play that game almost at all. When it came to Valhalla and Odyssey, I actually watched my wife play, I believe, 50 hours or more of both of those games. I haven't touched, in my hands, an Assassin's Creed game since I played Origins. And then before that, Black Flag. So it's been I'm a diehard. I mean, I would have considered myself a diehard Assassin's Creed fan when it was around 2, I played 1, 2, Brotherhood, all that stuff. I love them. They were one of my favorite it's still, I guess, that era is still one of my favorite franchises of any game ever. I mean, it's such a powerful thing. So, I told you this was going to be a story, so you may be wondering, well, when does this end? Well, I'm getting there. Basically, because I'm looking through the backlog, I thought, you know what? Assassin's Creed Origins is one of those games that I've noticed online has had that, back when I was saying in the beginning of this video, it's had that sense where it did well. That's another thing. Like, it sold well. It effectively brought Assassin's Creed into like a new era of Assassin's Creed, right? Like it changed the genre almost of what Assassin's Creed is, right? And it got people to, I guess, overwhelmingly accept that this is the new Assassin's Creed. I think some people still prefer the old way, but because of like the sales and the popularity, right? Like Ubisoft, effectively they pulled it off, right? They shifted the direction of Assassin's Creed, and they did it with one game. And that was Assassin's Creed Origins. So I give them a lot of credit for kind of like the behind the scenes stuff of shifting like the zeitgeist of what people thought of, you know what I mean, of Assassin's Creed. I give them a lot of credit for that, but I was just I've never been too much of a fan of the new like I said, I played Origins a little, and then Valhalla and Odyssey, I watched I was sitting right there. Okay, I think I touched the controller maybe a couple times, but I didn't really move around the like I just haven't. So, you know, when I was looking for things to play, I was like, you know, Assassin's Creed Origins is a game that I think did well and was received well, but I almost feel, and this is just perception, right? This is how I see it, and you could see it definitely different than me. But how I see it right now as a game that kind of is being talked about as this was an underrated game back in the day. I guess underrated is probably the entire word that could have summed up this video, right? That Assassin's Creed Origins feels like one of those things that we've seen with movies and other things where maybe it was judged too harshly, or it's actually a really amazing game. I've talked to people. I know there's Hunter, who absolutely adores this game. One of my close friends, Arthur, we talk on PlayStation a lot. He even told me like it's a really amazing game. His opinion, it's a really amazing game. It's just not an Assassin's Creed game. I think maybe it was judged too hard because it was Assassin's Creed game. And so I'm interested. So as of the recording of this, now I'm recording this on Thursday, so it's a little bit earlier than you guys see it. I've played an hour and a half. I started it up. I haven't gotten to the point that I got to back 5 years ago, whenever the game came out. I haven't gotten there yet. But my plan, and see, again, like this is a new era of me, Alex, from Podcast Now and Podcast Now Plus. Like I actually beat games. So unless the game really just doesn't click with me, you know what I mean? Like, and not even necessarily like I suck at it. Like I just don't like it. Besides that, I guess, and that's a possibility, I plan on going all the way through it. We still have some time, you know, in August and then even in September where there's not too much coming out. I fully intend to I don't know how long it's going to take me. I don't know how much time I guess I can give the game, but 40, 50, 60 hours, I mean, I feel like I can do it as long as the game speaks to me. And I'm excited. I'm excited to jump in because maybe this is my jump-in point for the game. So, you know, does this change your life? No, not necessarily, but I thought it'd be a fun little story to tell, and that's what I'm doing. So, you know, when I play games on my off time, again, like recently I've just been doing backlog stuff. Assassin's Creed Origins is next up, and normally when I do these things, I like to make videos of them afterwards, whether it's a retrospective or some sort of essay thing. I did that for Days Gone, and I really liked doing that, and I've done that for a couple other games. So hopefully I can do whatever I feel like I need to do in Origins, then I can make some sort of essay, you know, higher quality like video on the main channel and talk about it. And people seem to respond to those pretty overwhelmingly, so I'm very happy about that. So let me know if you have any pointers, any tips and tricks, any first-time guides, you know, whatever you want to say, leave them in the comments, and I guess stick with me. Obviously, this channel will, you know, do news, but I plan to update you guys on Twitter, update you guys on the main channel, and when I feel like I'm done with the game, you know, you'll probably see a video of me reflecting on my time, you know, of the game. So thank you for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all on tomorrow's video.